What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Gogotalx, brought to you by GOGOTIX. I'm your host, Malachi Johns. I am just waiting here for a second for Amir Boyd to get on. Hopefully, he should be on in a moment here. He said he was about to get on, and I'm not sure if he's having some technical difficulties or something, but hopefully, he'll be on here in a minute. In the meantime, thank you everybody for tuning in. And just to give you a heads up, tomorrow we have the part 2 of Wink, Funky Stuff Wink from Junkyard Band. Last week he was having some difficulty with his connection. He was on his phone instead of at his computer like we tell him to be. So he's going to be on a computer tomorrow, hopefully with a strong Wi-Fi connection. So we're going to be able to, to make sure that he can tell the rest of his story, because I think we were only up to like right when they signed the Def Jam, I think, and didn't get past that before his signal kept freezing up. So we got Wink back tomorrow for part 2 of his interview. We can get through the second half of the story of Junkyard, and then give me 1 second. This is Amir calling right here. So bear with me 1 second here. Let's see if I can get him on. Oops, didn't realize I had the YouTube muted. Sorry there, guys. So Amir is working things out. He should be on in a second here. Again, just letting everybody know that tomorrow we have part 2 of Funky Stuff Wink from the Junkyard Band. He had some issues with his connection last week, and so we're going to bring the second part of his show, and then on Friday we got Big Tony from Trouble Funk talking about the history of Trouble Funk. And yeah, thanks, Johnny. I saw it. I realized that YouTube was muted. Hey, Michelle. Michelle Wright's on here. Thanks for joining. Um, Michelle, if you want to see the other side of the conversation, make sure you head over to youtube.com/GOGOTIX. And hopefully Amir will be on here in a second.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get on it, brother.
What is it saying? What is it telling you now? Say again.
So when I go into Chrome, like the link just take me into Chrome. So what? All right, let me. I'm in Chrome. White.
So when you click on the link from the email, what browser does it open it in?
It's opening up Chrome.
It opens it in Chrome, and does it take you to StreamYard?
At first it took me to StreamYard, but then it doesn't take me back. Let me just go to StreamYard.
Yeah, it should take you to StreamYard, and then it should give you an option to either log in with YouTube or Facebook. You should just be able to log in with Facebook. It makes it quicker, and it should bring you right in.
Yeah, I'm opening up. It's a verifying Google Chrome. Yeah, I feel like Google Chrome is an application downloaded from the internet. I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. It'll just take you straight to Google Chrome. It don't take me nowhere else out there. I see StreamYard on here. But then when it gives me a page that says get log in, get started, the easiest way to create especially live streams. That's what I'm seeing.
Okay, so okay. Do you have FaceTime on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna cut the Instagram feed, and I'm just gonna hit you on FaceTime, and
there you go.
Okay.
So look, this is what I see. I go to StreamYard.
Okay, so go back to the email.
All right. Man, we made it. I can't hear you though. What am I doing wrong?
No, you're fine. I had my mic muted because I was talking to you. I don't want everybody to hear. How you doing, man? Better
Sorry,
now.
I'm late, bro.
It's all good, man. It's all
Something
good.
done, but is this okay? My internet?
Yeah. You're good.
All right.
You're good. You might want to point the camera down a little bit. The bottom of your face is covered. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you gotta get the T-shirt. You know,
Yeah, gotta get.
represent that.
Yeah.
How's it going, man?
Man, it's going good, bro. I'm blessed.
That's,
Uh, just trying to stay out the way.
I can dig it. Where are you joining us from today?
Man, crib, LA.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
where at in LA are you?
Excuse me.
Where in LA are you?
Oh, I'm out near Inglewood.
Okay, not too far from me. We're down in Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah.
Um, So normally I run an intro and stuff, but since we're running a little bit late, we'll just go ahead and skip that today. So why don't you let everybody know what what your history in the entertainment music business is and how you got into it.
Actually, I heard you shouting out Michelle really earlier. Michelle used to get PGC. So that's pretty much where it started for me. As far as like,
You sound you sound real muffled right now. I don't know.
okay, let me see. Maybe let me just try.
Yeah,
Is that better?
much better. Yeah, much better. Yeah.
So yeah, you mentioned. I heard you shout out to Michelle right there, and I started. I started. PGC. She was already working
Hmm.
like 1999.
Oh wow! It's like you're really clear for a second, and then you get garbled, and we can't understand. I don't
Can you
know.
hear me now? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we're having some problems. Yeah, I mean, it'll be like the first half of your sentence is perfectly clear, and then the second half kind of gets garbled up.
All right, hold on one second. Let me put it on. One second. One second.
Okay.
Alexa, down to 5. Let me tell Alexa to shut up.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, how about now? Good now?
Sound good now? Yeah, we'll have to see once you start talking because you always sound good when you say, "Can you hear me now?" And then once you start talking, it gets garbled up.
Man, I got my network with me. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, that was good. So let's just give it a shot.
Okay, so I started at PGC in 1999, but for me, it started in college. I went to Morgan State University. I actually was a history major, but I willed myself to the music business. And then in 1999, I used to throw parties in Morgan, and I was like, being in the business somewhat too, but you're creating your own. So in '99, kind of was just doing all kinds of jobs. And back in I started like '93, I said I wanted to be in the music business, and I had no idea how I was gonna get in, but I knew I was gonna get in.
Well,
And
so let's slow down a little bit. What made you want to be in the music business in the first place?
man, I love music.
Okay, like what kind of music were you listening to coming up that made you realize you wanted to be in business?
Fire, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, of course. I mean, and then being in from the DMV, you catch everything. You know what I'm saying? So all the go-go bands, every go-go band for real. I probably have seen like all the older ones I would probably go see back in the day. I was the youngin in the go-go's way before I was supposed to be.
Right.
So I kind of was using fake IDs to get in. That was the thing. I was 14, sneaking in the go-go's.
This is a recurring story on this show. People using fake IDs. Matter of fact, I had Fairly was on here a couple weeks ago. She was going into her how she was using fake IDs to get in as well. That's
Man,
funny.
I mean, yo, pre 9/11, you could do whatever you wanted to.
Right, right.
Um,
So 93 is when you were
I started.
decided. That's when you started throwing parties, and you decide. And this was at Morgan.
This is at Morgan. I told one of my friends that I was just going. One day I was going to end up working with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Jay-Z and them. I said that to him. And
Weird because I think that was Omar at Morgan at the same time as you.
so Omar's older brother used to go to Morgan too. He graduated, I want to say 93.
Mm-hmm.
But Omar used to always come up to the school all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So he was coming to the school way before he was going there.
Right.
He may have been there and not even been going to school there. He used to hang out.
What year did you graduate?
I left Morgan in 97.
97. So I was there at the same time. This is crazy. Like I was there. I went to Morgan 95, 96. And then again, I think I stopped for a semester and went back again in 97.
Okay.
And but I didn't really know any. I was in the music department and I didn't really know anybody, and I wasn't really like being social or hanging out or something. So it's so funny that now, like, whatever, 20 years later.
Yeah, man, I was up there throwing parties by then. I was wild. Like, bruh.
Yeah.
Man, Morgan made me who I am. I ain't even gonna front. Like, you know what I'm saying? I learned a lot there. I didn't graduate, but I learned an awful lot.
I didn't either. Don't worry.
Oh, no, I don't feel bad at all. Shoot,
I
I know a lot of people that graduated and they ain't doing what they know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them, but that ain't who I am. I spoke all this into existence. I got some more stuff I'm speaking into existence.
There you go. Okay, so 93, you're throwing parties and you tell your friend I'm gonna work with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and then what? So what happened after? Like, what was the first step towards manifesting that? Like, how did you?
So I just kind of stayed down with some people who are potential. So my one of my friends she got a job at BBC.
Okay.
And was like, you remember me throwing parties? She knew I would be good at it. She was like, yo, most people are high, ain't no money, but you know what I mean, you can get in here. All I ever knew was all I needed to do was get my foot. So
right.
I learned how to do everything in that radio station. You know how to do engineering, I knew how to put up banners, I knew how to rock a mic, I knew how to do. Me and Tony Red started at PBC at the same time, the same week. The reason that they hired me, well, not the only reason, but one of them was I had a good driver's license. So I could move him around. You know what I'm saying? So he could do call-ins and all that kind of stuff. So he had already worked at KYS or something prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Tony Red. I was just talking to people. We were just talking about it a second. Nothing less. Yeah.
We're starting to go in and out again a little bit.
So nonetheless, so I just started like making myself worth something. Like I was like, oh nah, I wasn't no money. I think I was getting paid like $4.25 an hour, bro, and it's like 29.
Yep. Yeah, and you were in the promotions department, correct?
Get in, learn how to do everything though.
Right. And which is kind of funny because when I didn't come to PGC until way later, like 2006. Tony Rez was already gone, but Rasan and Feezy were still there, and I was. It wasn't necessarily the driver's license, but they put me in charge of the vehicles, of which I'm like the least qualified person to be in charge of any vehicle ever. Like every vehicle I've had up until, like 10 years ago, like something broke, something was fucked up. I let the oil run. Like I'm just terrible with vehicles. And that's what they put me in charge of.
That was me.
Yep.
It was me doing that. Like we had the Winnebago, we had the van, we had a Montero Jeep, we had a Yukon. Like that was me, bro. This is when they first started like really rapping shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, so I was there before Fly Tie and all of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? At first, it was just me and Tony, and we came up with the name for the street team together because at the time, P. Stu, Steph Lover, and what's my other man? They were on Kiss, and they was called the Five Squad.
Yeah, I remember that. Was it Two-Face? It was Steph Lover, Peace Two, and it was Two-Face, wasn't it? I can't remember who it was now.
It was a little bit a part of them, but it was somebody else too. But nonetheless, we got to come up something for our street team. And for real, on our street team, it was me and Tony the only ones that was being paid and Shaq in the pack. Shaq.
You said Shaq what?
Shaq in the pack, but everybody else on our street team was intern.
Right.
So that's we all came from that, you know, that PGC brain trust. That's what I like to call it.
For sure. And so then how did that transition? What was your next position after? Or did you stay in the same position at PGC, or did you move up at PGC, or did you move out? And
so I'm end up kind of like not really moving up, but moving out. Thea was becoming a program director, Thea Mitchell, in Baltimore at a startup station for CBS at the time called X1057.
Yep.
And because I had gone to Morgan and, you know, gotten in up there, she was familiar with that. She knew I knew the market, and she brought me up there with her to be her assistant promotion director. That was the step up.
Nice.
And then that station was on the air for like a year and a half. I ran a street team up there. I did pretty much the same stuff I was doing at PGC, but more because I was able to. They used to let me go host parties and all kinds of stuff, comedy shows, everything up there because of the jocks. You know, some of them didn't want to go out and do that stuff, so it was like, let's let Amir do it. All right, so I'll go get that money. I was out there trying to get it, making a name for myself. And then Frank Ski used to he was syndicated to that station in Atlanta. He would come up. The GM from the radio station in Atlanta would come up. They come up and see me going hard, and they be like, "Man, we need to get you in Atlanta."
Nice.
Later, the radio station goes off the air on March 7th at 11 o'clock. At 11:30, the GM from Atlanta called me and said, "I got a job for you. You want to move to Atlanta?" I had already been trying to get to Atlanta. I had already applied for a promotions director job. You know what I'm saying? I was already trying to get to Atlanta. Again, I'm speaking. The theme here is me speaking all this shit into existence, yo.
Right. So hold on. So one thing real quick, when you were at X1057, was DJ Spice there?
DJ Spice was there. Lil Mo, Malika.
We grew up together. We were both from Minneapolis.
Okay, so I already know you fit. You 100,000. Like you 1,000,000 crazy. I mean, like you all the way. Like them my folks right there.
Yeah. Spice. We grew up together, man.
The first time Quick was ever on the radio was at X1057. You know what I'm saying? He was like 17.
Yep.
18 years old doing that. Like, and we all came up together too. That's a whole nother level of people that I came up with.
Right.
I ended up going up to Atlanta and doing the same thing, but bigger. So there was another step up in the promotions department. I was the promotions manager there. And
but at X1057, you said it went off the air at 11 o'clock, meaning they shut the station down.
Yeah, they fired us. They laid us off.
And how long were you there before it got shut down?
A year and a half. We went to market for a year and a half. But we were going hard. And they was,
I remember.
Yeah, people were starting to check for us.
Right. And so 11 o'clock they shut it down, and 11:30 you had already applied in Atlanta at which station?
V103, the station I ended up being at.
Gotcha.
Shout out to Frank Ski. He had been telling them, like, man, we need to get Amir to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Y'all need to figure that out. And they hired somebody else instead of hiring me. But as soon as she got the job, they told, you gotta figure out how to get Amir down here.
Right.
They figured it out. They moved me to Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta on March 27th. The station went off the air on March 7th of 2003. I moved to Atlanta March 27th of 2003.
So 20 days later. Okay. Yeah. And did you want to be in Atlanta? Did you was it specifically that you wanted to be in Atlanta, or you just?
I had been talking about Atlanta since the first time I went down in 1990 at a college trip. Everything I went to was black owned. I was like, yo, this is dope. Like
So that was the reason that you want. I was going to ask why you wanted to go, but that's the reason.
That's the reason. I was like, everything they took us to, they did that on purpose, and rightfully so. Like they, you know what I'm saying? They showed us, okay, yeah, this is different from where you live at.
Right.
You know, I mean, and DC has always been black too, but this was a little different. Like it had a little more something there, you know, going on as far as you know, because that was Dion. Dion had a club down there. Keith Sweat had a club down there. This was back then, so you was like, hold up, like what? You know, that wasn't happening in DC. That kind of stuff wasn't happening in DC.
Is it still like that? I just remember seeing that the Killer Mike show on Netflix, and he's like, "Can I live a whole week in Atlanta only using black business or something?" And he was struggling. Is that still the case? Or?
I'm sure with certain things, however, it changed. It was changing before then.
Okay.
But you know, specific. I mean, he broke it down to the very last compound. I mean, you can't. Ain't no car companies. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no like bike companies. I mean, well, he did show one. You know, it ain't a whole bunch of like grocery stores, but you know, certain things you can do in Atlanta on a consistent basis without and keep it all the way black. Like
for sure,
if you want, like some 3 people down there own gas stations, black people. So that's I don't know where that kind of thing happens. You know what I'm saying?
You said 3 white people own gas stations in Atlanta?
Oh, 3 black people.
Oh, 3 black people. Okay, gotcha.
2 separate black people, families have gas stations in it.
Okay. Like a station or like a chain of stations?
Nah, they got each one of them got their own.
Oh wow. Okay. I guess the only reason I'm saying is because where I grew up in Annapolis and Bill Petaway owned, you know, that works with Timberland owned a gas station down there, so that wasn't weird to me. But yeah, cool. So all right. So you're at V103. You're the promotions manager at this point.
Yeah, promotions manager, still street teaming, still got the street team supervising and doing schedules, doing all this stuff. First person there, last person. And when I was at PGC, I would see all the music reps because they would come.
You say you would do what?
All the music reps come in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? From the labels, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the job I want. This is the job I'm gonna go get. And I started doing street team with my homeboy Anton. Me and I went to Morgan together. He was working at Aris University. But he had street team campus. And he probably would pay me like $100. And I ain't care. It gave me access. And I always had stuff. I had the CDs, the stickers, the t-shirts. I was setting up the for the artists before they got there. And, you know, he always made sure he let the artists know, like, down here. You pull it up into the city. These white girls all over the city. He did that with several artists, bro, all the way up to Jay-Z. I remember him bringing me on the Blueprint tour. You know, it's your street team, dude. He killed it. Yeah, all up and down New York Avenue. I was like, yeah. So he would do that with everybody, yo. So I was making sure my work ethic was like A1. And I always spoke the next number into it. So all the reps, I wanted to do what they were doing. Like, man, I need to start getting to it. And I started learning stuff from them.
Right. Are you using like an external microphone or something because it's starting to go in and out? Or I don't know if you like are you holding the computer with like your finger over the microphone or something? It's like just keeps going in and out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. Is it better now?
Yeah, it sounds better now. Yeah, but I mean, it'll be like like I said earlier, like the first half of your sentence will be great, and then like, the second half, I don't know, it's kind of tough.
I don't know. I'm just using the regular mic. I ain't doing nothing.
Okay, well, it seems to be okay now. So hopefully, we'll just keep going. So you and your guy Anton have your own. This is your own street team. You guys started your own separate one. And you're contracting out with different labels.
Yeah. So
how did you know to even do that? Like, you know, I mean, 'cause this is regular stuff for us, but for like some of the people watching, they, you know, like, I don't even know what that means. Like, how would I even start something like that? You know?
I mean, he had the street team already. Really, he had the account.
Okay.
From the labels, and he just needed somebody to do the work, the leg work.
Okay, I got you.
And he probably did some of it or had somebody else doing it, and approached me because me and him went to school together. We went to Morgan together.
Right.
And was like, "Yo, you want to do this?" I was like, "Yeah." So I always had. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. You sound. Yeah, it's been fine. Yeah.
Always had access to CDs, posters, T-shirts. So I'm taking that stuff to the radio station. We put the sticker on and giving it out in the street. So I made myself a whole nother stream of revenue. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Radio station. I'm getting that little check, but then I'm picking up other checks out in the street too, doing street food stuff.
Right.
And still having access to stuff.
Right.
So, and build relationships with other reps and learning from them. I knew I needed to learn how they talk. I needed to learn their lingo. I knew I needed to, you know, the music reps would like building up when they walk. It was a different vibe turned up. Everybody was happy to see them. And
because they usually were buying dinners and
tickets,
free shit, right?
Yeah, had tickets and had T-shirts, and had all the cool stuff, and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, this is what I'm about to do."
Right.
You know?
Okay. So this is what year that you decided that? Well, because you said you kind of went back a little bit. So you said in PGC is when you determined you wanted to be be a record guy, and then you went down to Atlanta, and then you're at V103 as a promotions manager. At what point did you transition into the label side?
So after PGC, I left V103 in Atlanta to go do marketing for DTLR. I helped open up the first 8 stores in Atlanta. DTLR.
So had you built your DTLR, like, because obviously Spice and C's and all those guys were, you know, with Unruly were associated with DTLR. Did you build your relationship from DTLR when you were at X105.7?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm only hammering this stuff home because, like, for people watching, like, it's really important, I think, to know, like, the relationships. And I talk about this on the show a lot. Like, people look at relationships in the music industry as a bad thing. Like, oh, he only got on because he knew such and such and such and such. And I, you know, when I was young, I probably thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be based on your talent. It's supposed to be based on your work ethic or whatever. And it is based on both of those things, but it's based on those things and your relationships. And if you don't take the time to build relationships, and if you're an asshole to people and you don't work and you don't do shit, you know, then nobody's gonna make it for you. And your story is a perfect example of you building relationships at every turn and making yourself indispensable and working hard so that people know that I can count on Amir to get done what I need to get done, which thereby says, hey, we need to get Amir here, we need to get Amir there. So
I haven't filled out a job application in 21 years, bro.
Right. Exactly. That says a lot.
You know, it's been, I mean, even like when it's been dark, like I've still been able to like do something. So, you know, you're absolutely right. The relationship part, bro. It's always I want Amir on my team. And let me get him on my team. Like, it's been like that throughout my career. Because it's my second time in the store. And both times via a relationship from the same people.
Okay, you starting to break up a little bit again. So let's try to go back to, okay. So DTLR. So you left V103 to go to DTLR. And what was the decision making process behind that? Like, they just asked you and you said,
I wanted to quit V103. I was over radio at that point.
What made you over radio?
What made me over it at that point was the attitude of radio at that time.
And what do you mean by that exactly?
To me, some of the people I was working around were accustomed to being number one. So they didn't feel like certain things they needed to do because they were number one.
Right.
Like, nah, I never played. I wanted to rush.
Right. So you had a competitive spirit.
Yeah. So
and they were complacent.
exactly.
Okay.
And that's what they told me one of the reasons why they wanted to come down. And then when I got down there, they still wasn't paying. So at the time I was over radio. So ended up at DCLR and kind of outgrew that too. And then I get a call from Kevin Lives.
You get a call from who? Sorry, you broke up again.
Then I got a call from Kevin Lives.
Okay. And for everybody that doesn't know, Kevin Lives was at Def Jam at the time.
He was at
300.
He just started back over at Warner Music Group. He started over at Warner Music Group with Leo and Julie.
All that. Yeah. God, this was after Def Jam. Okay, gotcha. All right, so Kevin calls you.
Now I had known Kevin when he was at Def Jam. So again, that relationship.
Yep.
And then Frank Ski and then Thea, all relationships with Kevin. I know who vouched for me. Always know who vouched for me.
Right.
So they told Kevin to call me house just to see if we could kick it. Started working at Atlantic in the music group.
Doing what now? Sorry, you broke up again. What were you doing at Warner Music Group?
I was working at Atlantic for Warner Music Group. We had a promotions department called Special Lives.
Okay, so that was June was part of that, right? And then I got an email this morning from my good friend Monty Shulman.
Monty,
who said I used to work with Amir. So yeah, so Monty and June were over there. So and what was the difference? What was the difference between Special Ops and a normal radio promotions team?
Well, most of us had come from non-traditional things, or somewhat still in the music business. A lot of us know some radio and the promotion department. We had come from truly different spaces, but we also had to work both panels. That's what kind of made us different from everything.
You had to work both what?
Both panels. We had a rhythmic panel and an urban panel.
Okay. Yeah. So let's break that down, because for a lot of people, I mean, some people have watched before, and I've had other record reps on here. I had my man Akil. I had Monty on here. I had somebody else who is escaping me right now. But for those that are for the uninitiated, what is the difference between rhythmic and urban?
It's two different charts. The rhythmic chart is so if you're in DC or even your city, it depends. It's going to be it's kind of hard to say now, because they pretty much the same thing at this point.
Right.
Some of them just choose to eat from a bigger portion of advertising.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it boiled down to at this point, man.
Right.
But you may hear like I guess at one point you could probably see somebody you could hear more of the pop kind of records on a rhythm station.
On a rhythmic, right? And urban was more straight hip hop and R&B. So if you're in the DC market, DC is a CHR, contemporary hit rhythmic station.
Exactly. And this would be the urban, you know what I'm saying?
And KYS would be urban, yeah.
Exactly. DC would be the urban or whatever. So
right.
That was we had to work both panels. That was our specialty. Okay, everybody else was broken up and all of it. So we would always be assisting other staffs. The Atlantic staff, we would assist them every now and again. It would be the whole building trying to get a TI record played, something like that. You know what I mean? So we kind of were able to move around a little different. I learned an awful lot there under Zine. So yeah, that was my first thing on the record side. And one of the things I'm about learning the language is different.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The language is different.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I can say that too. I've been running a booking agency for the last 3 years, and there's a whole set of lingo on the live side too. You know what I mean? From which the live side is different than the radio side is different than the record side is. So yeah, there's definitely a whole whole language to it. So okay, so you're working at Atlantic. In the special ops team, and then that ended up getting dissolved after a while, right? Or did you leave
Yeah,
before?
I left before.
Yeah. Okay. So what?
I went to Interscope.
And why did you go to Interscope?
Because I felt like Interscope was like the Dallas Cowboys or the Yankees, or you know what I'm saying, no matter what, the Lakers, like no matter what, everybody was gonna tune in. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like they was that kind of label, and that was a label that I always worked with. The opportunity came, and I took it. And again, they were doing two staffs over there, the Geffen staff and the Interscope staff. And I was on the Interscope staff. And it kind of disappeared too, but I left again before then.
Right. Well, so the Interscope thing, that was a relationship thing too, or you just made
Keenan Johnson, who is now my SVP at Interscope. He was doing a national back then.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Yo, you want to rock with me?"
Mm-hmm.
So I moved up. Like, I got to get replaced. So I was like, "All right." And they always step up, baby. He steps up. So I was like, "Yeah, let's run it."
That's what's up. Yeah, so we got my man Salih Williams on here, Bootsy Vegas, and he says Amir to this day is the hardest worker I've ever seen in my life. That's not exactly what he typed. He left a couple of words out, but I knew that's what he meant. So
yeah, that's my dog right there. He knows.
Yeah.
We always at PGC together. We all at PGC together, yo.
Nice. Yep. I used to play in OP Tribe back in the day.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So, so another one of our loyal viewers here, Old School Quinny, wants to know: did you work for Coast to Coast as a judge? Does that sound familiar to you?
I think so. Old School Queen. Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, she said she thinks you judged her performance 5 years ago.
Yeah. Probably.
Gotcha. All right, there you go. Okay, so you went back, or I'm sorry, you left Atlantic, you went to Interscope, and it was a step up. So what is your title now at Interscope? Not now, but the first time. What was your title?
The regional Southeast regional manager. You know what I'm saying? I just handled the Southeast radio station promotion for Interscope at that time. Very good time to be there. Still, great time. I learned a lot.
So, like, what records were you working at that time? Do you remember? Like
Lost Without You.
Robin Thicke.
Yeah, Robin Thicke. We worked at the Buck album. We worked early Get Money, 50 Cent. Moving Park. Holla Back Girl.
Gwen Stefani. Yep.
Yeah. Nelly Furtado had a big record back then.
Yep.
Harry Wilson, Rich Boy out.
Right.
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. So, and you're there for what? And so this must be 2006, 2007, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I just remember because I remember sitting in a music meeting listening to Lost Without You for the first time. It must have been, I don't remember when it was, but and nobody got it except for me and Adimu.
Wow.
And it was like, man, this isn't that cool. And Adimu was like, what are you talking about? This is a smash. And I was like, I don't know, man. This sounds pretty damn good to me. I don't know what y'all are listening to.
Yeah.
And of course, it ended up being a big smash. So yeah. So okay. So then what happens?
So then I leave right in time because they disbanded the staff. So I left and went back to radio to be the music director at V103.
So you went back to radio.
Yeah, but this time as a music director.
So how did you go from, because that's a totally different department. So how did whoever hired you have the confidence that you could go from being a radio person, which is essentially or being a radio promoter, which is essentially a relationship marketing, borderline sales position, to, actually, I mean, I guess it's the flip side of the same coin. I mean, if you're the radio rep, you're interfacing with the music directors and the program directors anyway. But how did they, who had the confidence in you to jump straight in there for that?
So at the time, Reggie Rouse,
Yeah,
he was moving to Atlanta. And
the OG.
I started my career with him, you know what I'm saying? So, he knew pretty much all of my moves too.
Right.
I was his guy in Atlanta. So, and he knew that I knew music, he knew that I had relationships. And that's really what you supposed to be able to have in this business, but especially as a music director.
Right.
So I worked there for a little bit. Didn't last long. I got out. And then I ended up being VP of promotions.
You ended up being what for Grand Hustle? You broke up for a second.
The VP of promotions for Grand Hustle.
Okay, so you go from being a music director at V103, and that lasted about how long?
Maybe a year.
A year, okay. And then how do you go straight from being a music director to VP of promotions at Grand Hustle? How does that happen?
Those relationships, brother.
Yep, I was gonna say, I think I know the answer, but I gotta ask the question anyway.
I became cool with Tip and Jason Jeter and Clay and Hannah. I came good peoples with them, you know what I'm saying, and just started kind of hanging out with them, at first, and then I already had a somewhat relationship with him because we worked at Atlantic, and Tip was signed to Atlantic at that time, and so was Dro, so was Country, so I'm already helping them out doing independent stuff with them prior to me being in radio.
Gotcha.
And they were like, yo, when I still had the job at V, and I was becoming frustrated there. And me and Jason had a conversation. He was like, man, just come rock with us. And he showed me the money, and he showed me the opportunity, man. Told me what was about to happen with Tip. And he was like, yo, I'm gonna put you on the road with him. And that was like the best thing that could have happened to me, bro, because at that time, I was just in the Southeast.
Right.
Prior to that. But when I got on the road with Tip, I got to meet everybody across the country. And he was on fire.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So what does the VP of promotion do on the road with an artist like T.I.?
Well, back then you doing radio promo. So
okay.
I'm helping out with the promo. You know what I'm saying? I'm making sure I got the records. You know what I mean? I'm having conversations with the DJs. I'm having conversations with the program directors. And the music directors. I mean, I know the conversation because I've already sat in that seat before. I'm also going to talk to the reps too because they know me from working with them at Atlantic.
Right.
Well, I'm really like a liaison in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And it worked out. It worked out. And then we ended up cranking out so many different acts. Young LA, we got Young LA a deal. Interscope. I used to work. So we walk in the Interscope, everybody already know me.
Right.
Relationships, that make everybody feel comfortable.
Right, for sure. Well, let's also make sure we're not leaving out the work ethic and talent part. You can't like relationships don't mean anything unless you actually can work hard.
Yeah. They just relationships if you don't work hard.
Right.
And I never wanted nobody to be able to question my work ethic. So I always worked hard.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, so you're VP of Grand Hustle. What year is this, and about how long did that last? Or VP of promotion?
Man, so man, I mean, I rock out with them like 2008 to like 2011 maybe.
Okay, 3 years. That's a decent run.
Yeah, nice little run. It was the most like I know Grand Hustle at a label. This is why on the Billboard list. This is during that time. Like we was rock. You know what I'm saying? So this is why they can be on that Billboard. This is the time we was moving like a freight train, bro. And everything didn't pop all the way off, but we popped off a lot of stuff.
Right. Okay. So then, so 2011. Then what happens?
2011. I'm still kind of, everything kind of has started to slow down for Grand Hustle. And I'm kind of like trying to figure out the next thing. And I get a call from somebody who's working over at Epic Records, and they asking me who were the dopest acts in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them they're Future, Titty Boy, and Charlie Boy Gang, and Trouble. The 4 acts I said.
So Titty Boy is 2 Chainz, right? And you kind of went out for a second. Who were the last ones?
Trouble and the Charlie Boy Gang.
Okay.
And Future.
Gotcha.
And he asked me if I had music. I had music on Charlie. I mean, I had music on Future and Titty Boy. And they signed Future and they hired me.
And this is you are still at Grand Hustle at this time, or you had left?
Nah, I mean, like Grand Hustle was a family. Like you got to kind of get put out of that. You leave out on your own. You feel me?
I got you.
I mean, just because you ain't getting no money with them, don't mean that they're not your family.
Right.
I wasn't on a payroll anymore, but that's still to this day. I end up just kind of going to do. Everybody started kind of trying to figure it out their own way.
Mm-hmm.
So I get this call from Epic. They hired.
So I want to dig into that a little bit. Who called you from Epic, and why did they call you? How did they know to call you, and why would they call you?
They knew that again that I keep my hand on the pulse.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew that I was gonna know the answers to those questions. And they also knew that I would be able to get the music like easy.
Got it.
And they knew I had been in that market.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, shoot, almost 9 years,
Mm-hmm.
10 years, 11 years. I mean, somewhere around there. I was in there for a while. So
Right.
I kind of was making my name known out there. So, yeah. And
they hired you as what?
Benny Pugh called me. They hired me as the do the Southeast. Well, really kind of like do the whole country, because at that point it was just me and him. I was the first person that Epic hired.
Okay.
And it was me and him working 21 times all up and down the East Coast.
Now I only ask because if they're asking you for who the hottest acts are, and then they're signing them and hiring you, it seems like maybe they would hire you as an A&R instead of a promo guy.
Man, but they also knew that I knew that.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's interesting you say that, because I ended up bringing them cash out. And I also, back in the day, got another group signed to Silent. You know what I mean? I was influential in Young LA getting signed to Interscope.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that's always been somewhat kind of, I ain't gonna say easy, but let's say this. If I bring an act to a label and they don't sign them, somebody else does.
You said if you bring an act to a label, what?
And they don't sign them, somebody else always does.
I got you. So you got the ear. What you're saying? You got ears.
I mean, been able to kind of just use everything to help me be where I am today. And I think it's something that I kind of have spoken that into existence too, but from the standpoint of me running the label altogether.
Gotcha. Well, so just to digress slightly, but not really. Real quick, anybody that's on Instagram watching right now, make sure you head over to YouTube because the Instagram's about to cut off. So make sure you head over to youtube.com/GOGOTIX and you'll be able to see the other side of the conversation. There's only about a minute left on Instagram before it cuts off. This is the reason why I don't do this on Instagram anymore. So to digress slightly, you've spoken a couple of times about speaking things into existence. How does that actually work in practice for someone who might want to, do the same thing?
I think it should start with you understanding where you want to be, and understanding too that it's going to require, and understanding too when the opportunity comes, and you got to be able to speak to yourself and say, okay, this is my time. Like, you got to really be in tune with yourself. You really got to know who you are, and it requires patience, probably than anything, because it's not going to happen right when you want it to happen. Excuse me. Because when I started talking about being in the music business, that was in 1993. I didn't start getting checked in the music business until 1999.
Right. So 6 years. Yeah.
Exactly. And I knew that I was on the path enough to know that radio station job wasn't going to pay me no money, but I can get in here and do what I do, and I can be where I want to be.
Yeah, radio is not the best paying industry unless you are all the way at the top of the food chain.
Job, or you in the sales department.
Yeah. One thing real quick, do you by any chance have a set of headphones? I don't know if this is going to fix the issue, but if you could plug some headphones into the computer, because
you still going in and out. Let me see.
Yeah, it has been, and I just
hold on. I think I got
some real expensive. I mean, some real important stuff, and I want to make sure people can hear you. Not 100% sure it'll solve the problem, but I think it's worth a try.
Deeper and deeper.
I should have, if I was smart, I would have asked you this 40 minutes ago.
Is that better?
Sounds like it is now, so hopefully it continues.
You can hear me better now, you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's not any louder or quieter or anything, but it doesn't seem to be breaking up. So hopefully, I don't know. We'll give it a shot and see. I'm not sure. Hopefully, we'll just hope for the best. So, okay, so you're at Epic. You've gotten hired by Epic to do theoretically the Southeast, to work the Southeast in terms of radio promotion, but really you're saying it's all over the country, and then it sort of broke up after that, so we didn't hear why it was really national.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, now you just froze up all the way.
You see me now?
Yeah, you froze up for a second.
Okay. All right, so just kind of like do the Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I was moving Future all over the country, really. I was moving all the acts all over because, like I said, I was one of the first people they hired. We didn't even have a staff.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it was better for a second. Now it's doing it again. So it must be a connection issue, not the audio. But you said you were moving Future around the country, and then I missed the last part.
Yeah, I was the last person. I was the first person they hired.
Okay, gotcha. And then how long did that last?
I got fired from in 2004 and 2014.
Was that your first time being fired?
First time being fired. I got laid off once at a radio station. But they say you're not in this music business if you haven't gotten fired or laid off.
Yep, that Fairly said that the other day. That's funny. Yep, 100%. So I guess that means I'm not really in it because I don't think I've gotten fired, but I've gotten close to being fired though because I like to run my mouth too much. So, But okay, so you get let go from Epic, and then what? In 2015.
Man, like it got dark for me, bro. Got really, really dark for me. I fell into the deep depression. Um, I even, you know, contemplated suicide. Like, just started like losing things and things being taken from me. Really, really dark place, man. And it was hard. It was hard, but I was able to, with family and some friends, I was able to get back together like I needed to be, and I kind of started doing my own thing. And Instagram had started to become more and more popular. So Julia Beverly was getting ready to do her book tour for Pimp C book she was doing, and she had posted something. I was like, "Yo, let me get
I don't know why that's even ringing because my whole thing is on Do Not Disturb. But sorry about that.
But she started to promote the book, and I told her I wanted to be down. And she's like, "Yo, what can you do?" And I was like, "Yo, all this radio stuff. You got a product, you can sell it. They can fuck with it because it's you and it's music." And I took her from the Breakfast Club, Big Boy, you know what I mean, from New York to LA, El Paso, like everywhere, promote book on the radio. So I just used my relationships to get me to move around. And then she was kind of like, "Yo, we can do this. And I was like, "Yeah, let's try it." Like, we'll reach out to the people and they would say yes.
So I apologize. I'm gonna pause you for 1 second just because it's really, really breaking up bad now. In terms, but I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's weird because the video's not breaking up. The video's fine. Can see you fine. But the audio is really, really crazy. It's like,
Is there something I could do on my end? Let me see. I mean, I don't even know what to do.
yeah, the earphones that you put in, do they have a microphone on them or they're just earphones?
Nah, they just headphones. But hold on.
Yeah, if you have, I don't know if you have ones with a microphone. It might be something with the microphone on your computer. I don't know.
I do. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'll find them. There they go.
You can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Everybody on the feed can hear me okay, right? I'm trying to isolate what the problem is.
It's all good.
Yeah, this is not an issue we've had before, so I'm not really sure how to fix it,
No, it's all good. Right though. Get it right. Damn.
Okay, while he's getting the earphone thing together, can everybody hear me okay? On my end, is my audio okay? You guys want to run your mouth the whole time, and now when I'm asking you a question, nobody wants to answer. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Queenie. Okay. Thanks, Tracy. Okay. Yeah. So they can hear me. So it's something on
It's
your end.
something.
Yeah.
What's going on, bro? Oh boy.
No dice on those. All right. Well, while Amir is doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and run. Run these things. If you guys haven't gotten your Go as Fuck T-shirts yet, make sure you go ahead and get them. Thank you so much. Queenie posted on GOGOTIX Instagram earlier today. Queenie in her shirt. Trace has got her shirt. So the pink ones are big. Brooks has his shirt. He hasn't posted anything yet or sent me a picture yet. But go ahead and send that when you get a chance there so I can post that as well. So thank you to everybody that's gotten them so far. All right. Any luck on the? All right. Well,
drinks on me, girls on me, on the dance floor. All eyes on me, party like a rock star. You can find me in VIP. All eyes on me, yeah, where the girls are. This is how your night should be.
all right.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Let's see how this goes. At the old school.
Yeah, had to go old school on them, baby.
Old school earbuds.
Yeah.
I know they're old school because if you can plug them in a computer, that means they got the 1/8 inch. So they must be from like 4 phones ago.
You already know it, baby. Gotta have these when you're on a flight.
Yeah, they don't got the lightning joints yet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like we're good so far. So hopefully they'll maintain.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I wish I would have asked earlier because I think we lost some folks because couldn't really hear what you were saying. But yeah.
So
it's all good. It'll be up for people to look at later. So we're good. Thank you.
So I got fired. That's where I was at.
Yeah. And you were in that dark place, and I've certainly been there. Yeah. But I think it's important for people to know that even for people as successful as yourself, that shit ain't always sweet, you know?
Nah, it ain't always sweet. It ain't always sweet, bro. And it feels like, to me, like coming out of it really lets you know what your superpowers are. You know what I'm saying? You may be kind of like dance around them before then, but once you go through something, you're like, okay, yeah, I know my capabilities, I know my strong suits, I know everything about myself. I feel like when you go through something like that, it's almost like one of those Marvel characters or something. They go through something and they come out of it having superpowers. And
superpower.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I feel like happened.
So what's your superpower?
Oh, speaking things into existence is one.
Okay.
I think even having like supreme patience is a superpower.
Okay.
And then my mom says I have a sense of discernment. So she says I can see things before they happen. Like she's been telling me that since I was like 14.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you toy around with it prior to. And everybody's thing ain't the same, but I know for me, I kind of always knew I had these things, but when I got to be in that dark place, and coming out of it, that's when I recognized it the most. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got you. So Omar says, thank you for helping me through mine. I'm not sure if he's talking to me or if he's talking to you, but I assume.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that's my brother. Yeah, we've been talking about this kind of stuff before, man, and I don't think people really, do what they should mentally. Mm-hmm. Especially like right now, bro. Like we going through something. This thing. Yeah. This ain't regular, man. Everybody trying to act like it's regular, Well, and by no means, Omar, no, this ain't the worst thing I've been through. This ain't the worst thing he been through, but this still ain't the same.
For sure.
People need to check in.
For sure. That's what's up. Okay, so how did you end up getting out of that place, and what was the next step?
So after I got out of the place and I was able to start moving around with Julia, Jason Jeter called me back again. It's like, yo, bro, that's dope. What you doing? I got something I need your help on. Um, still kind of the same thing, but it's not on the music side. So I ended up doing the marketing for Hustle Gang clothing.
Okay.
So if you watch the first,
how was that similar in? I mean, what skills were you able to apply from your music career to apparel? Because obviously it's a different business. But
it's a different business. However, the language is a little different. It's a lot different actually, but you paying attention to a different kind of detail. So paying attention to details kind of goes, throughout everything to me.
yeah.
And then also understanding timing and understanding trends. Well, understanding trends helps you in everything too, especially with the music business.
Right.
So then I was able to apply those, and then those same relationships. Those same relationships I had on the label side, and same relationships I had the radio, some of the relationships I had in the community, like all kinds of stuff I was able to kind of like, okay, I got Hustle Gang clothing brand. What can we do? How can we, work with each other? So yeah, all of that stuff ended up I being able to apply to the brand.
So what was your actual job? Your job was to get the clothing on influencers or okay.
Influencers. I also, had to do lookbooks, you know what I'm saying? Had to come up with like cool little concepts and things to do, events, what events to sponsor, what events not to sponsor. The first season of Atlanta, somebody wore Hustle Gang every day on that show, on every show.
Nice.
First season of Atlanta. I hooked that up. You know what I'm saying? Young Dro, I made sure he had it, made sure Tip was wearing it. You know what I mean? So yeah, just making sure the right people had their brand and knew about it. And then when we did things, we made sure we collectively made it a big deal.
Dope. Okay. So
and then I'm doing that, right? And then Jason finds this kid named Nick Grant. And like, yo, I need your help. So I'm like, okay. He's like, yo, come to the house. Hey, I've skipped out a lot of stuff that I've done in between it. Like now I'm sitting here thinking I forgot I was Lil Duval's road manager in 2010. And I forgot I helped manage Big Boy from Outkast for Jason back in like 2000. When was that? When Big Boy had that album on Def Jam, that first album he put out on Def Jam. Like I was part of his management team. I totally forget some of the stuff I've done, bro. So, my bad. But I just had to go back to that. But however, like, yeah, man, like I was able to apply all that stuff, man.
Nice. And then what? And then after
Nick Grant.
Okay.
Nick Grant. We get Nick Grant popping. We get Nick Grant signed to Epic. So here I am going to Epic. They fired me, but now I'm management. You know what I'm saying? So that was interesting. And then the relationship at Interscope came back towards me again. New regime. I had already known Joey because like I told you, I got on that sign of Asylum when I was working Atlantic back in the day. We worked at Asylum Records. So I already had a relationship with them. The kids in Lions, they had us tatted up.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, Joey signed them.
Okay.
Because of me. Like I was hoping that happened. And I already had a relationship with him. And I already had a relationship with Larry, and then Keenan, that's my guy. So he became the SVP. He was like, yo, we need a new national. And you want to move to LA? I was like, yeah. And I still was working with Nick at that time, but it wasn't moving upwards. It was like stagnating, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason. I still think he's one of the most incredible MCs on the earth. However, this opportunity I couldn't pass up because I started speaking, moving and living in LA into existence. My daughter was going to USC for one, but we had started coming out here so much with Nick, and I was like, yo, we gonna end up living out here. I was like, I'm gonna end up living out here.
Right.
And it happened.
So what is it that you liked about LA that made you want to speak into existence that you would be here?
One, my daughter being in school, but also two, the vibe, the energy. Like I feel like LA is a place where, I'm 45 years old, so I'm thinking about what I want to be when I turn 70.
Right.
And, I feel like LA is a place where I want to be close to this beach. There's so much inspiration out here. The vibe, the energy is so, you don't have to be in the bullshit if you don't want to. Like, you gotta do that. So you stay away from the bullshit. Good. And I just felt like it's a town where the sun is so motivating. It's the total opposite.
Is it total what? I don't know, but I don't know what's going on, but your audio is going out again. You said it's the total what?
I said it's the total opposite of rain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I feel you on that. I'm down in Long Beach. We get a little bit more rain than probably where you are, but still not much. Not compared to back home.
Nah. Even in Atlanta, right? You living in Atlanta, I've been out here 3 years, bro, and I've probably seen it rain like 20 times.
Yep. Yeah, I've been out here 5 going on 6, and yeah, I mean this is my second time out here, but yeah, man, I don't want to live anywhere else. I love it here. I wasn't planning to come to Long Beach, but I'm glad my wife coerced me into it because it's actually pretty dope down here. But okay, so we're up to the present now. So you're in LA. You're national at Interscope. And are you on the CHR side or the urban side, or?
I'm on the urban side.
Urban side. Okay. All right. Got you. And so you've been out here for 3 years doing that. And this is crazy because we were already friends on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And we obviously know like all of the same people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if we've ever actually met in person. And I don't know. Do you remember?
I don't, and I was struggling with that when we and you were having that conversation.
Yeah.
So I don't remember that.
I was just like, because I don't remember if it was on. Killer Cow was the first interview that I did for this series, and that's I used to play in the What Band, and he'd been a friend of mine for a long time, and I when he was trying to decide between going to Rare Essence or playing with Backyard or Junkyard, I sort of advised him in his, I mean, I don't know if he only took my advice, but he basically ended up doing what I suggested that he do. So I guess I was part of it, but
he had influence.
Yeah, so he mentioned you at one point, and I was like, I feel like I know him. I know we're friends on Facebook, but I'm friends with a lot of people on Facebook, as I'm sure you are as well, that you've come across once or twice or whatever. And I just was racking my brain like, I cannot. It just seems weird that we never would have met
in person.
Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna fix that soon. Like once outside opens back up, since we're in the same place again.
Right.
So a couple of things. Like, what was because obviously this show is about GoGo. So what was your interaction with GoGo coming up through all of this? Was it just as a fan, or were you ever involved in the GoGo business at all, or just?
I mean, I always book shows. Like me and Omar done did a couple of parties together, and I would do go-go's up in Baltimore. I would the first parties I started to DJ had I like the parties I was DJing. It was in my house, in my basement, and all I DJ was go-go.
Mm-hmm.
All I DJ was like go-go. I was the only that's all I wanted to play, because at the school parties, they wouldn't hardly play no go-go. They only played the blood, or they played Junkyard Sardines.
Right.
So I had the PA tapes. I would be playing them on my set there. the dual cassette tape player,
Mhm.
mastering how to hit that pause button. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, then then that grew, like I said, booking them and doing parties with the bands. Everybody from Red Essence, Mice and Hip Huggers was real big at one point. We always would rock with them.
Yep.
Yeah, so it became that. I
Mhm.
mean, obviously, to me, Gogo is one of my first introductions, making me fall in love with even hip hop. Strange
Mhm.
enough, because the Go-Go versions, we would learn the songs to the rap songs. We always felt like the New York cats was rapping fast. Sometimes we couldn't understand what they were saying, but when the Go-Go got to it, they slowed it down and they made it understandable for us. So we learned the words a lot, the rap records from there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like it's always been in me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love, my favorite band of all time is Rare Essence.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that as far as being in the culture outside, that was my closest connection to the culture. Like actually being, a fan of it, and then actually making some money from it from the promoter side.
Gotcha. So, what has your experience been? Obviously, having interfaced with people of renown in the larger music industry and working in the major label system. What has what's the feedback, or is there any conversations that you have with anybody at labels or artists or whatever about how they feel about Go-Go? I mean, I know that, like, I had Fairly on, and she's talking about how Missy loves Go-Go and how Get Your Freak On was hot, was inspired by Go-Go. Obviously, there's the recent interview with Rick Rubin and Pharrell talking about it, and then I posted something from a podcast from Questlove's podcast where him and Rick Rubin are talking about it also. So, what is your I guess the more pertinent question would be, anyone under 40 that interfaced in the record industry with care about Go-Go or even know what it is?
I'm not gonna say they don't know. Obviously we're talking about people outside of the DMV.
Correct.
I'm not gonna say they don't know, because a lot of times, I still feel like this. A lot of times they getting Go-Go and they don't even know they getting Go-Go.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And they like it.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you mention Go-Go, it gives them a distinct sound in their ear and their mind. And if you didn't grow up with it or you just didn't embrace it, you're not gonna all the way understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna say that they don't know. I just don't know that it's still not totally embraced, as raw as it is.
Right.
When it comes back, what's the song Pharrell just did for the Migos a couple of years? What's that, Chopsticks or?
Stir Fry. Yeah.
Stir Fry, yeah.
Definitely Go-Go influence. Yeah.
That's busting loose, bro. That's busting loose. So I think one of the problems is people like Pharrell. Yeah, he's had that conversation, but Missy, Jay-Z, Curtis Blow, even Salt and Pepper, Herbie Love Bug, Nelly.
Nelly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, like Eve, even the Tambourine record. That's Beyonce. Like,
yes. Yep.
Just imagine if Beyonce
Lopez had one too.
Exactly. So just imagine if they was like, "Yo, this Go-Go," like, you know what I'm saying? Like that could do something for a whole culture that they don't even totally understand themselves. So, because of that, I think that Go-Go has kind of like just been, like the cup is half full.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So why do you think that, as opposed to, like, how can I phrase this question? Why do you think we haven't had our own Nelly and our own, Beyonce and our own Jennifer Lopez or whatever from out of go-go? Like, what do you think? I mean, there's a million answers to the question, but what do you think is the most distinct one?
I mean, it's a couple of them to me, man. I just feel like the DC scene, if you known in DC, you feel like you good. And they it's like, okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm popping here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bro, like if you understood that how important that is to have, but there's so much more.
Yeah.
You know, I think that sometimes people in our neighborhood, we have a arrogance with us. We're either feel like we're too good to do certain, and it's because of somewhat the go-go. Because you can go to the go-go and be a superstar.
Yep.
Because Big G shouting you out. You could be a youngin' doing it. That's happening to you. You know what I'm saying? So you moving around the city a little different.
Right.
Not even realizing that ain't hardly no people. That's a lot of people, but that ain't no people for real in the grand scheme of things. And I always too feel like, you know, DC didn't work with each other enough, even amongst the bands. Like you can see that even amongst the bands, yo. Like, no, they not doing a whole bunch of bills together like they used to. And even right now in the pandemic, ain't no reason that it shouldn't have been like a whole like go-go day, a whole go-go virtual concert, a whole go-go live should have happened by now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there are people doing live streams, but again, it's
separate. They not doing it all together. Listen, imagine if Back Essence and Junkyard all say, "Yo, we about to go ham on this day."
Yep.
All of us between this time and this time, and make it go live again, virtual. Like, you know, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like too, like, you know what I'm saying, like the young sound of go-go isn't the same as the old sound. So the old sound don't necessarily mix with the young sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like the culture dropped down enough too. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't like fall back down past like the bands. It didn't keep going. Like that sound, they kind of reinvent. It became, and not no knock because you know Donkey is what it is, but it became like trap music, I guess. With the South probably would consider, you know, you had a comparison.
Yeah.
However, it still didn't trickle. That original sound of go didn't trickle all the way down like it should have. And I think some of that too is like, you know, a lot of the bands in DC came from DC high school.
Right.
Took the band out of the high school. So there you have it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's trickled down to that. But it's so many different reasons though, man. I just feel like, you know, that's my own personal reason. Like I just watch how because I even asked some executives, like, why y'all don't go in DC enough? And they would say, like, yo, some of y'all people already feel like they already got it. Like they good. They ain't gotta do certain things. And it's that area. We all got it if we come in. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It just depends on when you're gonna turn it on and turn it off. And I figured out how to put it on in the middle.
Yep. Yep. Well, so I mean, it's funny because, you know, I don't know if you know, but I was the creator and manager and producer, songwriter, guitar player for Mambo Sauce, and we did the remix with of Welcome to DC, and I'm trying to remember the line, but it's damn, I can't even think of his name right now. It's not Booby, but from the Oi Boys, and he says,
Chico,
come to DC, don't try to be something about we act like we're the ones in the movies. Like I forget the whole line. I can't believe I'm spacing on my own song, but yeah, I mean it's just true. It's like, you know, don't try to be bougie like we act like we're the ones in the movies. You know what I mean? Like, and it's so true. Like just
we don't know how to humble down, bro.
It just doesn't make any sense at all. It's like literally nobody outside of these few square miles has ever heard of you, but you feel like you're this crazy superstar. So so what's the difference between like having worked with some developing artists? How do they carry it?
As far as
Like just in terms of like their hustle and their drive to get things done, and like I mean, is there an artist that maybe you could point to that you started working with early in their career and became much bigger, and you saw just the like what were the elements that they had that you don't see in go-go?
um um I mean I don't so many artists. I mean, I think the latest um like probably best definition of somebody working, even though I felt like at the beginning he crushed a lot of relationships with Future. Like, I think at the beginning he didn't understand what was going on and how long this could be, but I think it clicked for him and changed up his approach to things a little bit.
You break it up a little bit again. Can you put the microphone up to your mouth for me?
I would say probably Future is the one that I've seen kind of like go from almost a 0 to 100, and be I can admire his hustle, but it wasn't always like that. Like it wasn't like I think he was missing it at first. Like he just thought he didn't understand the relationship part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets it now.
So what do you attribute that to? Management, or like or just him, or like how do we?
Management and growing up. Like,
Right.
you grow up in this business. You get in here like when you're 21, 22. By the time you get to be 27, 28, you see things a lot differently. And as that relates to people from home and kind of like humbling down, understanding that this shit is hustle first. This shit is hustle first.
Right.
Fuck who know you. Like, you want to get the people who don't know you.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to get the people who don't know you. Like, it's just different. It's just different.
Right. Well, listen, man, I don't want to hold up too much of your time. I really appreciate this. And look, I definitely want to talk to you offline as well. You know what I'm saying? But thank you again so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And we'll have you back. I'm going to probably later on do some more sort of tactical, like things that can, like expert advice kind of things versus, here's your bio and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely want to have you back for that. If you would do it, and let's definitely talk offline for sure as well.
Pleasure, man. Thank you, man. You know what I'm saying? And let's get up once like we about to be back down on shutdown, but whenever we get a chance to get outside, brother, we need to do it.
For sure. We might just have to do a Zoom or something. Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Let me know whatever you need me for, bro. I'm gonna be here for you.
Likewise, man. I appreciate it. Thanks so much, man. All right. Have a good one. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thank you for bearing with all of the audio issues and setup issues and all that stuff. Thanks again. So tomorrow, we've been having a lot of issues. Just to be clear, it's not on our end. Tracy's doing a great job. We're doing everything we need to do. But so last week we had Funky Stuff Wink, and he was having some issues with his Wi-Fi, and so we're gonna have him back on again tomorrow so we can get the second half of the junkyard story. Hopefully he will have his Wi-Fi situation and his computer situation put together tomorrow, because it was a really, really great interview. He was giving a lot of history, and it illuminated a lot of things for me. And then on Friday, make sure you tune in. We have Big Tony from Junkyard Band. Big Tony from Trouble Funk. Tomorrow we have Wink from Junkyard Band. Friday we have Big Tony from Trouble Funk. both good friends of mine. So we're looking forward to talking to them. So make sure you tune in. Thank you very much. If you have not already gotten your Go-Go as Fuck t-shirt, please go get one now. Appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a good one.